What a move for Bitcoin on this day. It is March 12th, 2023. I want to break down the move that is happening right now. I did a video earlier today. A lot has happened. It's a $1,000 move, around a $1,000 move from when I did that video. And I want to talk about what Bitcoin is doing right now, a key area that it's approaching right now as I do the video, which is the main reason I want to go live. ADA on the 6 hour, this is the move. It doesn't look like much, I think, on the 6 hour, but how it portrays itself and how it translates to the daily chart and even the weekly chart, I really want to talk about in this video as well. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for me as we get this live stream started. If you're a replay viewer, hit the timestamps below. I'll do my best to organize it for you so you don't have to sit around listening to me ramble. So let's just first start before we dig into the very important, crucial area, and just look at this area. Look at this area that Bitcoin is testing right now. This is what's going on. And I'm going to do my best to kind of, bring it all together quickly. We know USDC situation happened, right? So this is the updated title. This is the updated story, because I think a lot of people are still thinking, man, it's depegged. Things are looking really bad. But USDC regains its peg after U.S. Treasury Department says depositors of SVB will be made whole. So that's the other thing. SVB depositors will be made whole. So this situation that we've been kind of going through this weekend, very dire, very dark. And we see it, though, slowly transforming. And I'm not saying it's not a bad situation anymore. It's a bad situation, right? But we're seeing the narrative start shifting. It's not maybe going to be as bad of a situation as we open up this new week. But I also think as we're looking at Bitcoin charts and we're trying to evaluate how Bitcoin is actually reacting to all of this, I also think it's kind of a big deal in terms of the narrative for Bitcoin. The thing that everybody's been saying over the years, Bitcoin solves all this. Bitcoin fixes all this, right? A lot of people are starting to understand the weak spots, the flaws, the failures of traditional finance and the banking system, right? So with that being said, this is on the macro in terms of Bitcoin, a huge moment. This is a telling moment for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrency. So that's what's going on. But here's what else is going on. Circle CEO says 100% of USDC reserves are safe and secure. I mean, I got a comment earlier like, Dan, in today's video, you didn't even mention USDC. It's depegged. Well, this is where we are right now. It's USDC reserves are safe and secure. Let's see what happens tomorrow, I guess. Here's what else is going on. US says all Silicon Valley Bank SVB depositors will have access to their money on Monday. Crypto-friendly Signature Bank has been shut down. So this is a new one, right? This right before I went live, just saw this. This isn't good. This is a crypto-friendly Signature Bank. It kind of gives this sense that crypto is under attack, and even being attacked now from the back end, that the banking side of things, right? So all that happening, and this is what the Bitcoin chart looks like. What does that say? And I tweeted earlier, and I mentioned this in a video earlier. I said, do you realize that after Luna, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager Digital, FTX rising, inflation, recession, and now SVB, Bitcoin is still trading at 21,000 in oversold conditions at the end of a bear market. Well, now we're at 22,000, approaching 23,000. While all this is happening, everybody, this is craziness to me, but so enjoyable for somebody that does technical analysis. If you enjoy it too, hit that like button for me if you're in that live stream. Let's get this over 100 likes, maybe even 200 likes. I don't do these live streams often, but they are absolutely fun. I enjoy hanging out with you. So thank you for stopping by. So let's just dig into the TA and let's talk about what's going on. So the biggest reason I wanted to do this TA is because of the move that's happening. You see it literally on the screen. Let me zoom in. Right now, this is the move, $22,500. Look at this. This is from earlier today. Real quick, a quick clip from the video. Check it. But we want to see what happens really at this trend line that we've most recently broken out of, right? We talk about pullbacks even after hitting a target. What does the pullback look like at the $22,500 area? Like, can you believe right now, just hours later, we're there already? The pullback is complete, and now it's kind of, it's time to shine for Bitcoin. What is going to happen right now? And I'm doing the live stream. We're getting a sense of it. And this is a 6 hour chart. You can just see Bitcoin making the move to that trend line. Now, outside of that trend line, what I do want to discuss is kind of a couple, maybe even more key areas, right? To the upside and to the downside. Suppose this is a nice little rally amidst all the fear. It's a nice little feel-good moment on the 6 hour. These green candles, we enjoy them. Suppose that tomorrow markets are extremely jittery. And I'm talking about not just crypto, I'm talking about just traditional markets, the stock market, and maybe US dollar currency index getting a little bit of a boost. If that's the case, and we're making this move for Bitcoin right now at the trend line, don't know what's going to happen in the hours ahead overnight, but there's a possible chance, obviously, for this entire move to basically be somewhat erased or a big retracement. I want to discuss that, but the resistance that we should be looking for is where it is right now at this trend line. And then we also have the swing high to the swing low on the shorter term. And we have this area. The price points to look for is a channel. The channel is made up of 23,000, right around 23,000 at the 618 line, to the 786 around 24,000. That's the area. That's a resistance channel. Bitcoin, for context, in terms of what that looks like, to the 618, it's a 2% move. To the 786, it's a 6% move. A 2 to 6% move for Bitcoin. Very interesting resistance to keep in mind. So what does that look like in the short term for Bitcoin as we break this trend line right now? Is there resistance up here? Is there sideways trading coming into tomorrow morning? If there's bearish sentiment, if markets are opening bearish, stock market's falling, is Bitcoin coming back down? And we're going to look at what back down looks like right now. Then after that, we're going to look at if this resistance falls, what's up with Bitcoin. So if there is resistance, right? If this is kind of a nice little rally amidst the fear, but it fakes us out and we're red tomorrow morning, we have just these areas to the downside that are, I think, really important to pay attention to. And what it is we can actually go to the daily chart to get a better idea of it. It's kind of this drastic support area, right? And this is to give you a price range wise from where Bitcoin is right now to the downside is 15 to 22% now to the downside. That's how much separation we have from a bullish macro, higher low pullback. So if Bitcoin and if markets are crashing because they just can't handle it, the emotions, the humans behind the computers, they just can't handle it. If it's crashing, that's our support area to the downside in that type of fear environment. And if we look at it in the shorter term, if you want to kind of get a sense of the Bitcoin support in the very short term, if it's not that bad, we have the swing low that we just popped out of to the current swing high. And then we have, I don't know what this is down here, but we have this Fibonacci, a higher low Fibonacci, and that is around 20,700 to around 20,200. That's kind of a consolidation area for Bitcoin. This maybe, in my opinion, makes a little bit more sense. If Bitcoin is to fail here and come back down to that area, maybe some consolidation on the shorter term setting up for, and I haven't even talked about this yet, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, March 14th. That is a big deal, in my opinion. What is it? It's CPI data coming out. I don't know what it's going to be. I want it to be better than what people are expecting. It would be phenomenal. But suppose it is better. Suppose it's bullish data coming out on Tuesday amidst all of the things happening. And markets finally do actually get kind of a nice green boost with a little less uncertainty. Then what does that look like on these Bitcoin charts is something that I'm very curious of. And I think what really I'm tracking now, and we discussed this the other day in a video, is this chart on the Bitcoin charts, which is to say it is this new pattern. It's just a rising channel that's setting up, right? Swing high to swing low, bouncing around to the swing high. This is that new trend line to the upside. And along this consolidation in the upper region of the channel, we had this other pattern, right? It's kind of a rising, broadening wedge. Bitcoin fell perfectly, 19,000 to 20,000 to the downside target, popped right back up. That's where we are right now. But just consider there's downside areas that Bitcoin actually hasn't even hung out in just yet, right? So it sets up for this higher low area if Bitcoin is to fall, if markets are to fall, if there's too much uncertainty and the fear and the doubt is just too strong for markets. It's an area to watch for. And you see this setup here. This is a macro setup. In terms of pivot points from bear to bull, this is what that pivot point I think could look like. So I'm not sure what y'all thinking out there. Let me know in the chats if you're bullish or bearish. Actually, I would love to know. Hit it, just bullish, bearish. Just type it out right now and hit the like button if you're here with me. I appreciate you. I can't see how many people are in here right now, but I wanted to get this live stream going as Bitcoin's making a critical move right now. Somebody says buy, buy, buy. So check this out. Even as we're doing this video, let's go back to this chart. You see Bitcoin breaking that yellow trend line, approaching this lower high Fibonacci. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. I want to pivot over to Cardano and just talk about the move. I know I mentioned in the beginning the 6-hour candle. It's kind of like, whatever. It's like a bounce. It's, we get these moves all the time. But if we go to the weekly, this is what's happening, right? Cardano's visiting an old friend. It is the 20-week moving average. Now, everybody, if you've been watching my Cardano TA, it's this monster of resistance, the entire bear market. And finally, Cardano in January, mid-January, broke above it and actually was trading above it. This is exactly what we wanted to see. It doesn't mean it's a confirmation of a bull market. It doesn't mean anything crazy is happening, but it does mean, in my opinion, that that pivot from bear market to bull market has officially begun. That's for me what it means. And that's all I'm doing is I'm just showing you how I look at the charts. But what happened recently is Cardano fell below it, which is fine, right? It is what it is. But the main goal here is we want to see ADA really start shifting this 20-week moving average around, right? So this means we don't want to see ADA trading below it too often. So we're getting right now a move. ADA's breaking above that 20-week moving average. You see it on the chart. And it's kind of like, well, it's a brand new week, right? 7 days left. This just started 49 minutes ago. So how is this week going to play out? Again, even as we look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin charts, the same is true for all of crypto. I think a lot has to do with March 14th. And I've been saying that. I said last week that I think this week is going to be potentially a really green week for crypto. And it's mainly because of this. If this comes off better than expected, and the reason I think that's a possibility is because of Truflation data. We've been tracking this. This is on-chain metrics Truflation uses in terms of tracking the inflation CPI data, and it's just been a great leading indicator, and it's been just continually ticking down. It's kind of a multi-month leading indicator for the actual CPI data. Last month wasn't that great, but I think what we're seeing over on Truflation is going to start trickling its way over to actual CPI data. And this month could be the month where we start seeing that happen. And if that's the case, I really think it's a big deal for just where we are in the shift from bear to bull, right? I'm not one that's saying we're entering the bull market right now. If you've been watching my TA, that's not the case. I think we're a little ways away from confirming a bull market, but we're at the tail end of that bear market. And we're in that pivot point, and it's a multi-month shift. It's volatile to the upside, to the downside, and we have to be patient through it. But I think all of this data coming together is really important. So here's ADA on the daily chart now. We just discussed what's going on the weekly. We want to see a weekly close above the 20-week moving average, currently around 33.5 cents. It's right where ADA is right now. But going over here to the daily chart, this is what's going on. We just discussed on the Bitcoin chart the pullback, right? So what we talked about in the video earlier. This is Bitcoin falling to downside target, pull back to the trend line. Let's see what happens there. And these moving averages. Same is true for ADA. ADA fell below its own trend line. It didn't get to, we had, I think, a 28-cent target to downside. You can see it wicked to the 29-cent area, just below 30. Didn't get perfectly to the target, but I would say we really kind of hit the target, right? Not always perfect. And now we're getting a similar move with ADA. You can see the confluent resistance area, and this is probably the shortest term area to watch for ADA for resistance, the 20-day moving average in green around 34.5 cents. And we have right there is that trend line right around 34.5 cents, 34.7. So if we're looking at this, that's one moving average. If ADA manages in the short term to break above that area, we have the 200-day, the 50-day, really around 36 to 37 cents. That's that big area. So basically, this is for if crypto continues to pump. If tomorrow somehow in the stock market is a good day, a green day, and crypto's pumping, and ADA's breaking this very short-term resistance that we just evaluated, that's that next area of resistance to track. But really, if we're in an environment like that, obviously it is so crucial actually for ADA to get above all the moving averages. It's fine that they're all converging together. We want to see that in the pivot point from bear to bull, and we want to see ADA above those things. But it's that red line. It's so interesting to me when you zoom out on the ADA chart. you see this area of consolidation back here, right around 40 cents. And then you go all the way back here in the last bear market, this bounce, you see the 40 cent area, just an interesting area of resistance. And even most recently, the 40 cent area, an area of resistance for ADA. So I'm very curious if crypto markets continue to move to the upside. What's happening at 40 cents, right? We obviously have all these moving averages, all this resistance just above ADA where it is. But if it's a green week, ADA's moving, and ADA does move. I know a lot of people forget that, but when ADA wakes up, it wakes up. It's a monster. What happens at 40 cents? That's a big thing that I'll be watching for ADA. So these are just all of the things that I'm watching, everybody. In terms of the Bitcoin charts, once again, this is a daily. We go over to the 6 hour, we get a sense of this short-term resistance. So the question for me tonight is what happens at this trend line, this pullback area we discussed, and it played out obviously perfectly from today's video. And then what happens at this lower high resistance? Once again, Bitcoin 24,000 right down to around $23,000. So that range of resistance, it's a lower high resistance. I would say be careful of just this fake out, right? Because tomorrow in 12 hours or so, it's a brand new day, and markets are extremely jittery right now off the back of all of the news that's happening with banks. I mean, right now, if you go on Twitter, up until the recent good news that USDC has depegged, right? And they're going to help the depositors of SBV. Up until that happened, you go on Twitter and it's like mass fear and mass panic. And people are really like freaking out that this is the contagion. This is it. This is starting. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing that I think that's quieting that down a little bit and the emotion of it is the fact that Bitcoin's just like, no, I don't care right now. I'm going to blast off to the upside. So it's going to be really interesting to see how markets react, the traditional side of things, the stock market, how the US dollar currency index operates tomorrow, right? You can see it over here. On the 1 hour chart, check it out. I mean, I didn't even actually open this up and recently, but check this out. This is interesting. And how it coincides with S&P 500 tomorrow, stock market tomorrow. There's going to be probably a volatile ride. So this is one aspect of it, the technicals. And the technicals have played out so well. If you zoom out, you see their structure. And this is why I do technical analysis. It's the roadmap of it all. If you all enjoy the roadmap, hit the like button for me. If you're in that live chat, it means a lot. It really does. I know sometimes maybe I come off as begging and desperate, but you got to understand these live streams, these YouTube videos, in order to get ahead, in order to get those views and to grow the channel, it's all you. It's all your support out there. The algorithms, they love your support. They love the likes. They love the subscribes. I enjoy them too. But that's why I ask everybody. Bots hate freedom. So everybody's the chat was popping. I saw it like moving real fast, and I know people are just look. This is massive whale manipulation. So there's no doubt there's so much manipulation in the headlines, in the charts, all over the place. And you know, Shane. It's just something to be aware of. It really is. These moves are nice. And what I like about the moves in particular is that they really do kind of fulfill the technical analysis side of things, right? And so if for me, when I'm just focusing on that and realizing, hey, there is manipulation. Hey, there are fake outs. Hey, there are these fake pumps. And hey, there is fear. It's going to be injected into the headlines tomorrow morning, and we can go lower. It's the technicals that act as a roadmap so that I can just kind of push that all aside. We know what's going to happen, whether it's a pump or just a huge crash to the downside. We have our targets. So the target of resistance, we just discussed it. It's right here for Bitcoin. And then the target, if there's a mass fear down to the downside, 19,200, right to around 17,500. And then on the ADA charts, what do we have? We have this resistance that it's at right now. What I'll be watching is right at this 34.5 cent range. I mean, ADA is right there right now. Above that, right around 36, 37 cents resistance. So we're going to track these things, everybody. I appreciate you. I really do. It's just fun. Let me just end with that. If you know what I'm saying, just comment, even if you're a replay viewer. It's just fun to get these moves because we've been, I mean, you can just look at Cardano chart's a great one to zoom out on because the pain is just, it's painful to look at it, let alone live through it, let alone to do almost daily videos through it, right? But you look at that ADA bear market, and then you go over here and you look at the Bitcoin bear market. This is a weekly, or actually this is a monthly, but it's brutal, right? So when we start getting these moves to the upside and these macro pivots starting to happen, for me, I am extremely confident that the bull market is getting very close, right? So this is getting fun for me. It's not so much waiting for, the bottom of the bear market for me as much as it is now living through the in-between of bear and bull. And I'll end with what I started with. Do you realize that after Luna, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager Digital, FTX, rising inflation, recession, and now SVB, Bitcoin is still trading at $21,000 in oversold conditions at the end of a bear market? Everybody. I've been doing these. I have, I think, over 1,600 videos. I started at the bull market high of like 2017, 2018. I've been doing these videos for 5 years. And the fact that everything that just happened in this past bear market is nothing that I thought was going to happen in 2022. Everything that just happened and Bitcoin's just chilling, oversold at $21,000, now $22,000. That really, for me, reaffirms everything that I've been just doing on this YouTube channel. And it's all about zooming out. And I know this is incredibly messy, but it's all about zooming out. This is a chart that I charted back in 2018 in the bear market. You can see it charted back here. And it's playing out. And the story of Bitcoin, the story of crypto, the need for crypto, it continues to play out, even amidst all craziness. And so I'm enjoying watching that story, tracking the story with y'all. And I really do appreciate you, all of you. Even, look at that, Legend of Zog. Even you, man. Been through it. You've been here through it all. You really have. And so many of you have. I know so many of you have. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. So if you're here right now, you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe. We have some fun. We're unemotional here. We track the data. But we have some fun for sure. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin and Cardano and the rest of crypto. We'll be obviously probably doing a video tomorrow morning to update on how markets do react to all of this mess. But we'll see. I appreciate all of you. Have an awesome night. Have an awesome start to your week. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless.